Explore your identity with Tayamika. Hello and welcome to another episode of Explore Your Identity. Here we delve into conversations about different aspects of our identity, both positive and negative, that have shaped who we are. I'm thrilled to have another amazing guest with me here today. I am your host, Tayamika, and my guest today is the most amazing Caroline England. Thank you, Caroline, for agreeing to have this conversation with me today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me, Taya. I'm very well, thank you.
So, a few weeks ago, is it weeks or months? Was it?
Yeah,
Was it Women's Month?
Yeah, it was about 6 weeks ago, maybe.
6 weeks ago. So yeah, during Women's Month, me and Caroline were part of a Girls Out Loud event, and Caroline was one of the keynote speakers, and I was just inspired by her story, and I thought, wow, this would be amazing for our audience to get a glimpse into your identity, what's shaped who you are today. So Caroline, I always like to start with a little bit about your background. Can you think of any particular instance or memory from your childhood that you feel has shaped who you are today?
Yeah, I definitely can. Probably one of the pivotal moments that set a trajectory for my life was hearing my voice recorded for the first time on a tape player.
Oh, wow. Gen Z probably wouldn't know what a tape player is, right?
Yeah, really, really
I'm
old
from
school.
that generation,
Although
so
I think they're
get
coming
it.
back in fashion, so I'm not sure. But basically, it's like a plastic box with where you insert a tape, and you could press record, and you could record something. And a family friend who was a bit like a grandmother to me bought this tape recorder and said, I'm going to record your voice because I think your singing's lovely, so
And
let's
how
record
old would
you.
that be?
I think I must have been about 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I just remember recording it, and I loved singing all the time. I was singing all the time. I was always writing songs, always singing. So when she bought the tape recorder and recorded me, and we listened back to it, that was probably the start of, I'd quite like to, do more of this.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah.
So what was your family structure or unit like?
So I'm the youngest of 5 daughters. So my life at home was pretty chaotic. It was busy, let's say, very busy.
And where were you brought up?
So I was brought up in Morton, which is over on the Wirral.
Yeah.
On the dark side, as they say. Yeah. So it was, it wasn't always easy. In some respects, I grew up in quite a privileged household. I was fortunate enough to get singing lessons. We had foreign holidays, which, some kids at my school didn't get. We did, we did have a privileged upbringing, but my family also struggled with mental health issues, and my dad had bipolar, and there was a lot of knock-on effect from that as well. So there was trauma there as well as, a very privileged life.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that being part of that household had a negative or positive outlook for you, like long term? Like, how do you look back and think, oh, this particular instance probably shaped who I am today?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there were some things that were quite difficult, but then I think anything that challenges you can then make you a stronger person in the longer run. So, I have nothing but gratitude to my parents for, raising me and looking after me and, supporting me through everything. And as I've got older, I understand their struggles a bit more, and I know absolutely that they did their absolute best for all of us, and that with what they had. So I don't have any kind of resentment towards them at all.
I can so relate to what you're saying. I think it's only life and being older and wiser that makes you understand, like, oh, my parents did the best that they could with the situation that they were in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, when you become a parent yourself, you start to understand that, you know, there are a lot more pressures on a parent, you know, just, you know, working to pay the bills and, you know, and look after the children, you know, is a lot. So it's, you know, when I became a mum, I started to understand that actually, gosh, you know, there's a lot more to this parent malarkey.
I know. And
when you realise.
I honestly, the older I get, the wiser I get, the more I realize that there isn't really such thing as like the best parenting, isn't it?
No,
you kind of,
yeah.
Because your situation and your family unit could be completely different from somebody else. Your parent experience is not exactly like somebody else's.
Yeah, exactly. And
parent experience.
There's this thing called good enough, and you know, as long as the parenting is good enough, then
exactly,
you know, you're going to be fine.
Oh, amazing. Do you feel like you were always confident about your ability to sing? Like you saw that in yourself, and were you sure of yourself? Like, what was the journey like?
Definitely not. I think I put on a front. I used to fake it, you know, that fake it till you make it. I definitely never felt fully confident. I worked really hard over the years to become more confident. And again, it's a thing that, you know, as you get older, you just, you know, you do grow as a person, and you do sort of learn to let go of certain hang-ups and certain things, and you know, do the work on yourself. And I have become more confident as I've got older. But when I first started singing, I used to do, you know, solos at school and school plays and pantomime and all kinds of singing experiences. But I was terrified. Even though I loved to sing, I really wanted to sing and be a singer, it took a lot for me to even just be able to control the sound, because my voice would go, I was just so nervous. But again, you know, with practice and working with the right people, I've been able to become more confident with that.
But I think it's such a beautiful thing that your parents still supported your dream.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you find in different situations and circumstances, sometimes the parents don't even believe in that dream, especially with creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So take me back to like your earlier years, like teenage years, early adult years. What was it like navigating music and the industry? Because it's completely changed now.
Oh yeah, it's very different. Yeah, I mean, I left home quite young. I was keen to get out and do my own thing. You know, by the age of 15, I was staying out at friends' houses quite a lot. And you know, I didn't initially go into music because again, I lacked that confidence. So I took a route down and started doing hair and makeup. So that was, I never really started. I started in a band when I was 18, but we didn't really do many gigs. And then it was only when I had my eldest daughter that I suddenly got this confidence that, oh, wow, if I can be a mum then, and I can do this, then I felt like I had more confidence to do anything. So it was then that I started looking into going out and performing, and started to do open mic nights, and bought a guitar, learned to play a little bit, started to write songs more seriously. And then from there, in my kind of early to mid 20s, started thinking, yeah, I really want to do this. I want to start singing professionally. And so then it started to take off a bit more.
Okay. And take us on that journey.
So, I did my first album when I was roughly around about 25 years old. And it was just at the time when digital music was slowly starting to become a thing. I just went into a recording studio that a friend owned, and recorded some songs, and again just was gigging out locally, and just trying to make a name for myself as a singer. And then it just kind of went from there.
So things are quite different today in terms of like record labels and do people still get signed on to record labels or is it a lot more independent now?
Yeah, but people do get signed to record labels. I recently signed a deal with BMG Publishing. There are still deals out there, but a lot of labels want you to make a name for yourself first and become more established before they'll show an interest in you. It's quite unusual for a label to come along and say, oh, we really like what you're doing. You've almost got to have a proven track record before someone will sign you.
So I've got a question for you. My 8-year-old daughter, she is a singer.
Oh,
like, she could sing before she could talk. About 6 months old, I could just hear her singing away. Before she could even say mommy or daddy, she was singing. So I always feel like I need to, because I've already seen it in her, and I feel like I need to encourage her and like, because I look at it now, like you're saying, like, you got to create a name for yourself before anyone will sign you. So what she does singing lessons, she goes to dance school and, you know, the rest of it. But I'm just thinking like, how can I support her and help her? Like she might get to 18 and decide she doesn't want a career in music. But while she's still interested, what can I do to support her and get her recording stuff, and what can I do?
Well, it sounds to me like you're doing a lot already. You're encouraging her, you're sending her to stage
I
school.
won't take all the credit. Most of it is done by her nana. Like her nana does, not just her nana and her daddy do most of the dance runs and all that. They go to the shows. I do some of it, but the majority is between her nana and her daddy. So I won't take the credit.
Yeah, but I'm sure you're there in the background encouraging and, and the singing lessons. It sounds like she's on the right path. Just let it unfold, I mean, you could give her some recording studio experience if she wanted that. But I think as well with kids, is let them lead the way, let them show you what they want. If she's enjoying the stage school and she's enjoying singing lessons, keep going with that, and
she
just keep asking her what she wants, and she'll lead the way for you. If she'll tell you, I'm sure.
She does not sing for me. Like the only times I hear her singing is if I attend a show or if I hear her in the bathroom, in the shower singing away. But like if I say to her, can you sing? She's like, no.
I think you'll find most kids are like that. Most kids don't want to sing one-to-one to a parent.
Do you find it comfortable like listening to your own voice?
I do now. I never used to. I'm fine now. I'm so used to it. I've recorded hundreds of times now, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
And I work with singers now, and I train singers to become comfortable listening to themselves. Ideally, you want to love your own voice, but for some people, that's too much. Even liking their own voice, they don't even want to do that. They can't even, some people struggle to even just accept their own voice. But you've got to go on a bit of a journey of learning to love yourself.
It sounds like so cheesy.
It really is. The people that love themselves the most are the most just comfortable in their own skin, and they're going to sound better because they're not inside their own heads going, oh, this sounds rubbish. They haven't got that internal dialogue criticizing. They're just happy with who they are. So, and that comes out in the song. So,
So here you are in your early 20s. You decide you're now comfortable in yourself.
No, I didn't get that.
I mean, like in your singing
I was
self.
singing, yeah. Gonna say it took a long time.
I know, right? It does take a long time. So you're comfortable in yourself as a singer.
Yeah.
And what's that journey like?
Yes.
What's going on?
So,
who are you performing with? Where are you going?
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of festivals. I was playing a lot of pubs and clubs. I think I locked. I did over 2,000 shows. I added it up and worked it out, and I'd done over 2,000 shows. I was recording, releasing stuff online, making lots of videos. I was really into making my own music videos, and then and it just kind of grew from there. And then a friend of mine said, and I was doing this part-time because I was also, working in hair and makeup. And then a friend of mine said, I really need someone to cover some classes at my music school. I need a singing teacher. Will you do it? And I was like, no, I'm not a teacher. Absolutely not. I haven't got a music degree. I can't do that. And he said, please, will you do it? I'm desperate. So I thought, all right, I'll do it as a favour. So I went along and covered a few classes and actually found that it was a real passion to help other singers to become more confident and be the person that I never had. I had a singing teacher and she was brilliant and she was absolutely amazing, but there was an element of some of the self-belief stuff that I'd learned along my journey that she didn't teach me because it didn't really exist then. So I was able to help singers with my knowledge, and I found that I really enjoyed that. So that's where it kind of
out of
went.
your 2000 shows, have you got any standout shows that you can think of?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's many.
Yeah, there's a few. One of them was performing for Light Up a Life, which is the Clatterbridge St John's Hospice charity, where every year they encourage people to sponsor a light for someone that perhaps you've lost a loved one. Not necessarily just to cancer, but if you've lost a loved one, you can sponsor a light in their name and memory. So they asked me to perform for that. That was probably the most emotional and amazing experience I've ever had being a singer. It was it was a big audience, and also everyone there was there for a loved one that they'd lost. So it was quite a emotionally charged event, but absolute privilege to do. And another fun, more lighthearted one was performing at the world records attempt to get the most amount of ginger-haired people on an airplane flight. Okay. So because I wrote this song called Ginger, which got picked up by Redhead Day UK and then the European Redhead Convention, and then suddenly Flybe Airlines said, oh, we want to do a world record attempt. Will you come and sing your ginger song for us?
Did they make it in the Guinness World Record?
We did.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, we got the world record. I think there was even a ginger pilot. Everyone on the flight had red hair. Yeah. So that was fun and very memorable, and So
you did touch on a bit about your classes or teaching, shall I say? What's your current path? Are you still performing? Or?
So, I mean, after lockdown, I was getting a little bit sort of more interested in the vocal coaching side of things. So it wasn't that I wasn't doing gigs anymore. I was just letting the nice gigs find me, and I was saying no to a lot more gigs than I was saying yes to.
Yeah.
Because, I've got a family, and it just felt like the right thing to do. So I'm not saying that I won't gig ever again. I do still perform sometimes when I feel like it. I might take my guitar or my ukulele out and do an open mic night, and sometimes I will perform for friends, and if it's a nice event, I'll choose carefully and say, yeah, okay, I'll do that. But the vocal coaching is really taken off. But I'm songwriting now as well, so I've got a lot of songs in the pipeline. I'm still writing and recording for myself under my name, and also with other artists as well. So I'm focusing more on that now.
How challenging has been your music journey?
Do you know what? It's becoming easier and easier the more I've learned to let go of any expectations. I think I put a very high amount of pressure on myself to succeed, and whatever success even meant. I don't even think I knew what it meant. But
what
I think
does it mean to you now?
Well, now success means just getting up and feeling good throughout the day, and enjoying the micro moments of life, the nice things in life, and working with people that I enjoy working with, and creating things that that make me happy, and encouraging other singers to do well, and seeing them progress, and writing good songs, and I'm trying to I don't really I don't have any pressure on myself anymore. I used to think I really want to make it big. I want to be, I want to be, this sort of really, I want to sell millions of albums and I want to, tour the world. And as I've got older, that kind of pressure isn't there anymore. I'm far more realistic about it, but I'm actually a lot happier and I've been more successful. As soon as I let go of what I thought success should be, the better I got. I just finding the opportunities seemed to find me rather than me going, come on, I want to do. I was frustrated a lot of the time. And I think as soon as I let go of that frustration and just said, okay, let's get into flow and let's just see what happens, things started to unfold in a better way.
Your journey has kind of, you've seen the transition from CDs to digital. How did that affect your journey, or were you able to kind of just ride with the wave?
Yeah, I mean, I think in one respect, creating CDs, when you're an artist, you tend to have boxes and boxes of merchandise that then after you've done the release, you're like, okay, well, these ones didn't sell. What am I going to do with all these CDs? There's usually a few left over. And, when you gig in, you can take them to gigs and you can sell them at gigs. But so the digital platform was more useful because it was easier to sort of, you didn't need to carry CDs with you as a physical item, but then also you're making a lot less money streaming than you are selling the physical product. So there was that element. But I mean, having said that, digital means that you can listen to music from anywhere in the world. So it was really good to be able to log into your music accounts and see that, oh wow, today I've had listeners in Japan or I don't know, South America or Norway, how on earth are they finding this music, and it's really interesting, whereas you'd never get that if you were, an indie artist selling your CDs from, the gig around the corner. So digital platforms and social media have helped artists grow their fan base anywhere in the world, which is, really exciting. So
what do you feel have been some of your greatest achievements within that journey?
Probably the most recent success that I've had is a co-write with the 80s band OMD. When I say the 80s band, they're still a band now. They're still going and they're gigging and they're touring all over the world. They're going to Australia, America. They tour everywhere. So I was lucky enough to co-write a song with the guys from the band, which then was used on their recent album, which got to number 2 in the charts. So that was my most successful thing that happened in music. Yeah. And, that took me till, I think I was maybe 43 when I wrote that. So, and I'm just goes to show it's never too late, just keep dreaming.
Yes. And just keep loving what you do, isn't
it?
Definitely.
I mean, that song came out of lockdown. It was when we were in lockdown, and it was, it was quite I want to say a dark time. It was a difficult time for myself because I was
a lot of people.
I was a single mom at that time, and it was really lonely. Even though I was speaking to a lot of friends and family, and I was in a bubble, and and all that stuff. It was, I'm a people person, so. I'm a very sociable person. So for that, it was so difficult to just be home alone with my 2 daughters. And, and I was grateful for them. And there were lots of benefits to that time that we had. But there were also it was quite stressful as well. I found it quite stressful thinking, I think it was at a time when we didn't really know what the virus was. And, it was kind of like, oh, how's this going to go? How long is it going to last?
I think everybody kind of went through some a personal journey during that time.
Absolutely.
I thought it was just me, but the more I speak to different people,
definitely.
the more I realised that everyone went through some kind of journey.
Yeah, I think it was more unusual if you didn't go on some kind of journey. But that song happened right in the middle of that time. I got an email from Andy, and he said, "I've got this song. I'm struggling to find a top line for it. Can you find some lyrics or a melody, see what you can do. Now, I've known Andy for a long time, and I always sort of joked and said, Andy, if you ever want me to write something with you, just let me know, thinking there's no way you ever will. But I was being cheeky. I just thought I'd, keep saying it.
Yeah.
So he sent me this email and said, I've got this song and I can't do anything with it. Do you want to just have a go? So I was like, okay. So yeah, I came up with something straight away. So I listened to the track, and there's people always ask me, "Oh, what's the song about? Who's it about?" And it's actually about me. I'm like, I wrote it because I needed that at the time. Yeah. The song's called Healing, and it's about like just appreciating who you are and what your gifts are, and letting go and not stressing the small stuff, and just learning to enjoy life, and so I wrote it and I sat on it for a few days because I thought I don't want to send it straight away. Yeah. I don't know why, but I think part of me was thinking, if I send it too quickly, you might not like it as much because he'll think that it only took me, it didn't take long to do. But at the same time, I was like, oh, is it okay? Should I change anything? And I knew I wasn't going to change anything. I knew that it was as it should be. And in the end, a couple of days later, I was like, let's press send. And then I was like, please let him like it. And then he just phoned me back straight away and said, oh my word, I absolutely love it. It's great. It's so good. We're going to use it. So I was like, yay. Wow. So, and that was a real lovely, light, happy moment in a difficult time. Mm-hmm. Even though we had the most amazing weather, it was just, we were stuck inside. We were allowed to go for our little walk. It was a difficult time. So that kind of like was just a little gem in that period. So
what you feel is probably one of your greatest personal achievements?
It's going to sound really cheesy, but the birth of my two children and having them, raising them, being their mum, that they're just the most amazing young women, and I feel very privileged to be their mother. And yeah, so
did you need to do any homeschooling or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can talk about it. Yeah, the first lockdown was brilliant because there was no school and it was just relax. You don't need to worry. Once we knew that the self-employed people were getting the SICE grant, that was like, okay, phew, we can relax. It's all right. We'll be okay. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, my eldest daughter went back to uni because she came home from uni, so she'd gone back to uni. Mm-hmm. So it was just me and the little one, and that was when the homeschooling started. That was fairly challenging, because she doesn't want her mum as a teacher, and I was helping her, but that was certainly challenging. And then the third lockdown, was winter, and so she was back at school because she was year 6, so they were letting year 6s go back in because of the transition to high school. So she was going back into school, but it was dark by the time she came out of school, so we were stuck at home all day. So I was stuck at home all day on my own in the dark in the winter, and then going to pick her up from school, and then being stuck in at night. So that was quite a tricky time. But I realised that there were a lot of people out there that had a far more difficult time than I did. But it was for me, I definitely found it challenging.
Yeah, it was. I was homeschooling 4 children, 2 of them mine and 2 of them for a friend. He was a key worker, and even though the school was open for the key workers, his start and finish time meant that it was a bit tricky for him to like drop them off, and because he's a single dad, or he was a single dad at that time. So I was homeschooling his 2, my 2, and it was quite. I was very disciplined the first lockdown. Literally, I would get up, go through my routine as if I was leaving the house to go to work, go through my routine, and then we would have like a morning class, a break, second lesson, one more after lunch.
Should have come to your house.
I was that disciplined. One after lunch, and then I think by about 3, which is like the normal finish time, that's when we'd kind of go outside, have an hour in the sun. Or some days I'll do a craft with them, like in my sewing room, and would do stuff. We made lots of stuff, like teddy bears and bags, all kinds.
Yeah, right.
Literally, like when the photos come on my memory, because every now and again they'll pop up, and then I'm like, oh yeah, we did this, and we did that, and you know, I look back at that time now, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
we did all this, but at the time it was so challenging.
Yeah, in many ways, when I look back, that time was a gift. It was a gift.
It really was.
But it was also, you know, there was difficulties as well. I started getting into vegan cooking and you know, and then and then it was like, okay, let's experiment with a different cocktail every day with my she was then, I think she was 21, my daughter, my eldest daughter, and then we were, you know, we'd just deep dive into various things, and you know, we'd be painting and just finding time to explore interests that we never would have been able to do if we hadn't have
it's really,
had that experience.
It was quite an interesting time, but for the first time, like my diary was so organized. It was in January that I kind of booked out like all the different shows and events I was doing all the way to August. So already by the end of January, I had about 8 different fashion shows and exhibitions I was doing. So I felt so organized that year. I was like, wow, for the first time, I already know what's going on in August. And that's not like me. Like usually, like I'm trying to, you know, juggle this, that, and the other all at the same time. So yeah, felt really organized.
Yeah.
Only for us to end up in lockdown that March. So, but what I enjoyed the most about, because I knew already in January that this is how much I've got to do. So already I was mentally preparing for those fashion shows, which can be quite a lot of pressure because I needed to make new things and stuff. So it was quite a relief not having the pressure of the fashion shows. As much as I like to show people my designs, it can be quite a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of work as well.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Is there anything ahead that you want to talk about? What's if you got anything in the pipeline this year or next year or coming up?
Yeah, so I've recently started a new choir, which started a couple of weeks ago. We called the Soundbeat Singers, and it's a combination of singing in a choir with breathwork as well. So I'm soon to be qualified as a breathwork facilitator as well. I've known personally the benefits of breathwork and how it's transformed me as a person and helped me clear fears and blocks. And I just really love working with singers as well. So to combine the two and to share that with other people is really exciting. I'll definitely do another album again soon. I've got one ready to go in my mind. I've got the songs. I just need to book out the studio.
And how can people connect with you?
Yeah, so I've got an Instagram, which is Caroline _music_. And yeah, I've got a website, we'reallvocalcoach.com. And yeah, I'm on Facebook as well, Caroline England. So
awesome.
So yeah.
I always like to end with some fun fashion-related questions.
Of course.
So my first question for you is, have you got any unusual item in your handbag or something that you always have on you?
I have. I put it in my pocket so I could show you.
Okay. What is it?
So it's called Colonia.
Oh.
And it's a hand... so you put it on the palm of your hand and you rub it together.
Okay.
And it's a hand sanitizer and freshener. And it smells like lemon and lime.
Oh,
and it
smells divine.
Yeah, so it's a Turkish or Middle Eastern kind of
I like that lemon
thing. Yeah, it's really
kind of scent.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So a friend of mine
that smells so nice.
Gave this to me, and I always keep
calming.
it. Yeah, it smells like the hot towels that you get on on airlines, you know,
Oh,
or in
yes, it
restaurants.
does.
It's got that,
yeah.
it's got that like clean
Oh,
smell.
lovely.
So I always have that in my bag or in the car. I have one in the car and one in my bag as well.
I like the fact that you're not only sanitizing, but it gives you that
It's
calming
nice.
effect as well.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Have you got any item of clothing that you're emotionally attached to?
Yeah. So I was chatting to my daughters about this last night because we were going through, you know, I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Mm-hmm.
And there's several answers to this. My daughter made me a dress once because she studied fashion. So she made me a dress.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the most precious items of clothing. But it's
amazing.
so unusual that I don't wear it because it's just so, it's beautiful and colourful, but it's kind of like, it's not an item of clothing that you'd wear to go to the pub or it's really hard to explain what it's like, but it's gorgeous. So probably that, but she told me not to say that. Sorry, Drew. And the other item is a t-shirt that I wore to give birth.
Oh.
And I've still got it, and it's just, you know, it's like one of those comfy cotton t-shirts that's just.
Did you wear it for the birth?
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
So it's just a comfortable, you know, it's got loads of holes in it now because it's been worn so many times, and it's just a happy, cozy, comfortable item of clothing that's a real sentimental value. So
amazing. Is there anything that you hate shopping for?
Pretty much everything.
Okay. What do you like shopping for?
I like shopping when it's quiet.
Uh-huh.
I like shopping when I'm feeling financially flush.
Okay.
And I like
so
shopping
you can
for
just pick.
I like shopping
about
for
the
nice
price.
occasions. Yeah. So if it's a happy occasion, like a wedding or something exciting, then I love going to buy like a pretty dress in person. Usually
Usually
in
so
person.
You can try it on. And,
yeah. I'm not keen on sending stuff back.
Yeah.
So if I buy online, I tend to be a little bit rubbish at returning things.
Yeah,
so
that can be a pain.
Yeah,
isn't it?
you've got to be quite
I'm
organised.
one of those people that are very good at returning stuff.
Yeah, you see, I'm not. You see, so I love to go shopping for like one-off items, but I like to go on my own. I don't like to go with anyone else. I like to go by myself.
Yeah,
because I don't like being followed, you know,
or pressure.
Yeah,
like,
I want to go.
You spend too much time.
Yeah, I like to walk in a shop and I can scan right across and see. I'm quite quick and I can sort of scan and see what I need and I can be in and out like a ninja.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, have you got any fashion related question for me?
Yeah, my fashion related question for you is what's next for you?
Oh, good question. What's next? This year, I'm literally doing events, which always kind of come up. Like I do charity fashion shows, so they come up as and when, and rarely are they in advance. I always get like a last minute call. Oh, can you come and show your designs at this event and stuff like that? So yeah, that's this year, and creating new designs is always my busiest period is between now and the end of summer, because one of my brands creates like colorful prints and accessories. So that's usually busy right up until like end of August. And then it kind of dies down then. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, creating new pieces. But in terms of my business as a whole, this year, I'm kind of looking ahead at the next couple of years, planning for the next 2-3 years, and then seeing where I'm kind of looking at the information from the last 2 years, how I've performed, because I've been in these premises on Smithdown Road for 2 years now. So I'm taking stock of what's been great, what's been amazing, and then planning ahead for the next 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I'm just going to conclude this episode by saying thank you again for allowing this conversation. And it'd be nice to have you back again, talk more about music.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
As we reach the conclusion of this episode of Explore Your Identity, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you And so much gratitude to all our listeners and viewers. Your support means the world to us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with our latest content. If you found value in today's conversation, please share with others and let us know your thoughts. Remember, you can find more identity episodes on our channel. Until next time, keep exploring your identity. Explore your identity with Tayomi